Man, I don't know if you guys caught it, but we had another debate right before the whole Iowa primary thing that's going on right now with Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Okay. I personally don't know why Vivek Ramaswamy was not included within this debate. I think that's kind of dumb how he's not. I mean, yeah, I guess according to the polls, he's not anywhere near them. But I really, the more I watch these debates, guys, especially with how this is going on, the more I feel like these polls, like I feel like they're only polling like the donors, like, the elite people in the party. Like, I don't think they're really seeing what the average person is thinking about these people. Okay. And honestly, like, I liked Ron DeSantis during COVID, like with what he was doing. I really appreciated what he was doing on that. But he's just acting more and more just like a career politician, which he is. And I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. And we already know Nikki Haley is. I mean, if you go back in her tenure, she's run on her identity politics of being a first generation from an Indian family and all this stuff. But she acts like a white woman in South Carolina. She talks like a white woman from South Carolina. She like it's just the craziest thing, guys. It's the craziest thing. The only person in this race that's not Donald Trump that actually it says exactly what he means, and you can't ever say that he's been flip-flopping on anything, is Vivek Ramaswamy. So why the hell is he not in this? So it just blows my mind. But we're going to get into it, guys. Welcome to Get Into the Facts. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel. You already know what it is. And I found my glasses. Okay, so I'm no longer naked. And I appreciate you guys still tuning in with me a little bit on that last video. I know it probably looked weird without my glasses. So, but let's get into it, guys. We got this first thing here from Forbes.com. And it says, at the height of her career, Nikki Haley's family was short on cash. She quit the Trump administration and made millions. Okay, and actually, we're not going to go to that one first. I want to go to this one first. On ABC News, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis clashed on Wednesday night at their first one-on-one debate of the 2024 Republican primary. The two, who both trail former President Donald Trump nationally and in early primary states, according to 538's polling average, engaged in frequently testy exchanges on their records in government and on an array of policy stances at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa, the state that will host closely watch caucuses on Monday. Trump, meanwhile, counter-programmed the debate hosted by CNN with a town hall on Fox News. Trump on the back burner with some exceptions. Trump maintains double-digit leads nationally and in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, three early voting states in the race, making him the candidate to beat. On Wednesday, he often barely got mentioned except for on a few key issues. In a continuation of a months-long trend, Haley and DeSantis, vying to be number two to Trump in the polls, instead focused their fire on each other, seemingly in a bid to establish one or the other as the main alternative to Trump, with just days left to persuade voters. Both Haley and DeSantis said Trump should be at the debate. Haley specifically noted that national debt rose during Trump's presidency, during which Trump implemented major tax cuts and responded to COVID-19, and swiped at Trump's penchant for drama and vengeance, while DeSantis blamed some violence during social protests in 2020 on Trump since he was in the White House. The two also touched on Trump's controversial claim that presidents should have virtually complete legal immunity for actions taken in office in effort to protect him from criminal charges he now faces, which he denies. The immunity question is currently tied up in court. I'm not exactly sure what the outer limits are. I don't think it's necessarily been litigated, DeSantis said. Haley, meanwhile, said Trump's claim was absolutely ridiculous. And we are going to stop right there. Okay, because what she's saying is absolutely ridiculous, because she's just taking that little clip it of what they're trying to say, right? And say, oh, that just sounds crazy. What do you mean? Just because you're a president, you can't get charged with anything? No, that is not the argument, guys. The average person needs to know the truth. If Nikki Haley and her $8 million net worth doesn't know how to actually look up this information, I want the average person to know, okay? When it comes to the argument about legal immunity with Trump, he was never convicted of insurrection. He was never convicted through the Senate of any of this. Okay, guys? He was not convicted whatsoever. So what they're saying about legal immunity is whatever that happened during the presidency, is if he was not found liable and found guilty and convicted through the Senate while he doesn't even have to be sitting, but as long as the Senate, the House and the Senate both convict that he incited the insurrection, that is the only way that you can charge a president or a former president for something that happened during the office. It has to go through the legal proceedings. I mean, that is exactly why we have it set up that way, guys. You know what I mean? So it's not that Trump is just immune from any type of legal trouble just because he was president. No. It's because the House, the Congress, and Senate never convicted Trump of what they're trying to get Trump for. That's gotta make sense. Like, that's gotta make sense. Nikki Haley, I know she in South Carolina. She might not be the smartest, tool in the tool shed. Okay, but Lord, baby Jesus, like, can we just know what the facts are? Like, that makes complete sense when you add that extra context that you have to be convicted through the right channels before you can get brought a case outside of the presidency. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So, again, just want to make sure I vented on that because Nikki Haley's dumbass is just irritating me with that. Just absolutely irritating me with that. All right, let's see. She also called him out on another point, election denialism in January 6th. Though she also mentioned that she believes there were discrepancies in the 2020 race. Haley said, Trump lost that election. Trump lost it. Joe Biden won that election, and the idea that he's gone and carried this out forever to the point that he's going to continue to say these things to scare the American people are wrong. Haley then said that she believes Trump will have to answer for what happened on January 6th. And I don't understand what that means. He already had to answer. The House and the Senate both were able to vote on whether they should convict him of inciting the insurrection. Okay, and I hate even calling it an insurrection. Like, one side there was some violent protest going on. The other side, the cops walked them in, basically held their hand and walked them through the entire goddamn Capitol. Like, like, come on, man, come on. Nobody had guns going in there except for the police. You know what I mean? So it's just, can we please just chill when it comes to that? That's all I ask. And then differences on foreign policy. Haley and Desantis staked out some of their most noticeable differences on foreign policy, including on Ukraine's response to Russia's invasion. Haley has been vocal in her support for sending arms and other equipment to Ukraine, as DeSantis has been more skeptical about prolonging the expansive financial support for Kiev, a stance that Haley knocked him on. Nobody knows what he believes, because when President Barack Obama was in office, he supported foreign aid to Ukraine. Now he's copying Trump and trying to act like he doesn't want to support Ukraine. Okay, and that's kind of stupid, okay, because back in the Obama administration, that was what? Freaking... 2008 to 2015, basically. Okay, like, back then, Ukraine was not in the middle of a war that we are the ones prolonging with our tax dollars. Okay, and it's not helping out the American people. And we're paying bureaucrats, and we're paying retired veterans in Ukraine their salaries and pensions. Like, come on, guys. Like, I just don't understand where we're coming from with this. Like, it just does not make sense. Okay, absolutely doesn't. The two did both voice unequivocal support for Israel as it fights against Hamas in Gaza in the wake of Hamas' October 7th terror attack. Though DeSantis said he wouldn't criticize Israel if it decided to permanently displace Palestinians. I mean, guys, I just don't like these girls. I just don't like this girl, like, at all. So as president, this is DeSantis. So as president, I am not going to tell them to do that. I think there is a lot of issues with that. But if they make the calculation that to avert a second Holocaust, they need to do that, DeSantis said. Lots of sharp elbows. Haley and DeSantis frequently went after each other in personal terms on a stage featuring just the two of them. Ron's lying because Ron's losing, Haley said during the debate. You're so desperate. You're just so desperate. Haley also touted a new website to highlight what she said were DeSantis lies. DeSantis, meanwhile, said one good rule of thumb: if she says she has never said something, that definitely means she said it. And then she'll say, you're lying, you're lying. That means not only did she say it, but she is on videotape saying it. And and to be real, guys, that is absolutely true. I looked these up, and it's just like I had to comb through and find the ones. I was trying to find like a compilation video that just showed like the before and after, kind of like they did with Hillary Clinton. But they didn't have one of those for Nikki. But if you look it up, you can find the old footage of how she's been flip-flopping on a lot of different issues, and then saying that she doesn't play identity politics, but then plays identity politics when it helps her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like those people at all. At all. Like, she uses her minority family being from Indian descent, even though she does not rep it at all in her real life. She sounds and looks like a Southern white woman with a tan. Like, she really does, guys. Like, I don't trust her with a 25-foot pole to be around me. Okay? Not at all. Like, and do I have my question marks about Ron DeSantis? Yeah, I do. But if it really came down to Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis, I'm going Ron DeSantis all day. At least I know he's not going to lock my ass down because of another pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely ridiculous, guys. And we're going to go to this little clip here just so we can kind of see like some of the highlights, the real highlights of the debate. Because I think it's important to just check it out, see the actual video clips of it. But it was actually quite interesting. So let's take a look. It might help if I actually put on my audio.
Rather than have him go and tell you all these lies, you can go to DeSantisLies.com. It will cover the fact that he's only mad about the donors because the donors used to be with him, but they're no longer with him now.
You got to have a leader who's going to fight the teachers' unions and is going to deliver school choice. Governor Kim Reynolds did that here in Iowa, who's endorsed me. She says she's always supported school choice, and she failed to deliver. She blames other people. Leadership is about getting things done.
If leadership's about getting things done, how did you blow through $150 million in your campaign and you were down in the polls?
So here's
you are not a manager.
Governor DeSantis, it's Governor Haley's. It's Governor Haley's time. Go ahead.
I think I hit a nerve.
Do not trust Nikki Haley with illegal immigration. That's like having the fox guard the hen house.
Will any of the more than 10 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. be allowed to stay in the country under your administration?
You have to deport them. And the reason you have to deport them is they're cutting the line.
We will build a wall. We will actually have Mexico pay for it in the way that I thought Donald Trump was.
I wish Donald Trump was up here on this stage. He's the one that I'm running against. He's the one that I wish would be here. He needs to be defending his record.
People like Nikki Haley care more about Ukraine's border than she does about our own southern border.
Nobody knows what he believes because when President Obama was in office, he supported foreign aid to Ukraine. Now he's copying Trump and trying to act like he doesn't want to support Ukraine.
Nikki Haley is basically a carbon copy of what Biden is. It's an open-ended commitment. They want another $108 billion.
There's a reason the Taiwanese want us to help the Ukrainians, and that's because they know if Ukraine wins, China won't invade Taiwan.
We don't have enough resources being $35 trillion in debt to continue doing hundreds of billions of dollars.
Then I wonder why you raised the debt when you were in Congress, because we're all paying for that. If we support Ukraine, Israel, and secure the border, that's less than 20% of Biden's green subsidies. You do not have to choose when it comes to national security.
This is the UN way of thinking, that we're somehow globalists and we have unlimited resources.
It has never been that Israel needs America. It has always been that America needs Israel.
When she was at the UN, she supported the idea of a two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinian Arabs. The problem with that is the Palestinian Arabs don't recognize Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state.
If you would have listened to what I said at the United Nations, a two-state solution wasn't something that was possible because Israel would always come to the table and the Palestinians wouldn't. But it's really rich that Ron is going to act like he suddenly cares for Israel when he brought the person to Iowa that's the most anti anti-Israel Republican in the state, the person that went and voted against Israel's right to exist in Congress.
We don't need an accountant in the White House. We need a leader in the White House, and that's what I would bring.
Why is it that his state is now known to have the highest cost of living increases? And why is it that they're saying senior citizens can no longer afford to live in Florida? We don't need him doing that to our country.
What do you admire about Governor Haley?
You know, at the United Nations, I did think that she spoke out strongly on some key issues, and I appreciated that. I also appreciate the state of South Carolina, and I think to be able to have been governor there is a great achievement.
Governor Haley, what do you admire about Governor DeSantis?
I think he's been a good governor.
Okay.
I mean, guys, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just don't. I'm really not a fan of either one. Especially when it comes to the presidency. It's really Donald Trump is the only person that I'm going to be voting for when it comes to this. And if for some reason he's not on the ballot, it's Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, it's the only one. Like, I mean, man, you really tying my hands back. I mean, if I got to vote for Ron DeSantis just so Joe Biden doesn't get into office, fine. But I think they're plastic. I think both of these people are plastic. I don't think we are actually hearing the real person at all. I think it's a figurehead for all the donors and everyone that is lobbying to support them. Especially Nikki Haley, though. Like, especially Nikki Haley. And I'm going to show you why I'm saying that. Because, look, I don't care. If you have money, if you're a millionaire, I don't care that you're in office. I don't care that you're a millionaire. What I care about is you making millions of dollars off public service, off your time as serving the American people as the UN ambassador. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, stop it. Stop it with that bull crap. Like, please. So we're going to go into it a little bit real quick to finish this up. But we're going to go into Nikki Haley's net worth and how it got to $8 million after she served on the Trump's presidency as the UN ambassador. After that. All right, so let's take a look. Okay. When 2024 presidential candidate Nikki Haley last served in office as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, her family's finances were a mess. Her parents owed over $1 million and were in danger of losing their Lexington, South Carolina home. A devoted daughter, Haley had loaned them hundreds of thousands of dollars in the past with her husband, but she could not solve all of her parents' problems. With less than $100,000 sitting in her bank accounts and $185,000 coming in each year in salary, Haley stunned Washington by resigning her role in the Trump administration in 2018. So that's only 5-6 years ago, guys. Less than 2 years after taking office. A spokesperson for Haley claims that the family financial troubles had no bearing whatsoever on Ambassador Haley's decision to leave her position, and points to a section of Haley's resignation letter in which she expressed support for rotation in office. But the same letter also suggested that Haley may have had money-making ventures on her mind. As a businessman, she wrote to Donald Trump, "I expect you will appreciate my sense that returning from government to the private sector is not a step down but a step up." Indeed, since then, Haley's net worth has ballooned from less than $1 million to an estimated $8 million. How did she make so much money in so little time? By following a tried and true playbook for politicians looking to cash in on their fame. Speeches to companies like Barclays and organizations such as the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs provided more money in a day than Haley had previously earned in a year. It's not clear how many talks she gave from 2019 to 2021, but Haley hauled in $2.3 million from just 11 events in 2022. Lord Jesus. She wrote 2 books after leaving the Trump administration. A 2019 memoir sold more than 100,000 copies. A 2022 title provided more than $350,000 in advance payments. Haley also offered consulting services, generating more than $700,000 in fees. Then there were corporate boards. She became a director of Boeing in 2019, then stepped down the next year, collecting over $300,000 in cash and stock. Haley remains on the board of the United Homes Group, which she has provided her with more than $250,000, as well as the promise of earning much more as equity grants vest down the road. That is unbelievable, guys. Come on. Like, that is what we complain about. Like, especially me. Like, as an independent person, I'm more of a populist person. We need to get people to vote on behalf of the American people. Nikki Haley is showing, just based on what she's done since leaving the Trump administration as UN ambassador, she is showing she will do the exact opposite. She is going to vote on behalf of the donors, on behalf of the big corporations, of Boeing, the military industrial complex. Like, she has shown it right here. Just flat out, here you go. You know what? I'm not even going to try. We were about, we were around $1 million net worth. It's not enough. My parents keep going into debt. Nope. Need to do it. Need to sell out. Her net worth is over 8 mil now. 8 mil in 5 years. Please get out of here. Oh, guys, I hate that about the politics. Like that right there is like my biggest pet peeve. Like, that's when I know that you're fake and you'll never earn my vote. You'll never earn my vote. It's not that she's a millionaire. It's not that she's worth 8 million. It's how she got to the 8 million. She got to the 8 million after she left office and used I guess her time as the UN ambassador, and she has all this expertise, and she has all this insight into the Trump administration. So she's just banking on it. It's just irritating, guys. Irritating as hell. But you let me know. Are you voting for Vivek? If Trump's not able to go in, you voting for Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley? Let me know in the comments, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content today. I hope you have a great weekend coming up. Have a blessed rest of your day, and I'll see you in that next video.
Yeah.